Morning everyone. Today is Monday the 27th of April and today's engraving text is based on Mark chapter 6 verses 45 to 56. Today's passage has three distinct parts. The first part is around Jesus sending his disciples onto a boat and then he goes off to pray up a mountainside. The second part, Jesus walks on water and calms the storm. And the final part, Jesus and disciples reach the shore where Jesus heals the multitudes. I just want to read Mark 6 verses 45 to 46. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get on the boat and go on ahead of him to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. After leaving them, he went up on the mountainside to pray. Jesus needed time on his own with his Father. He's exhausted after feeding over 5,000 people. Though fully God, he was also fully human. He went up on the mountainside to pray. I get really excited whenever I hear that word, prayer. Prayer is the lifeblood of the church. Prayer with his Father revitalized Jesus. It will do the same for us. Prayer at its best is a two-way conversation. He talks, we listen. We talk and he listens. Prayer with Jesus is always time well spent. A poem I learnt many years ago talks about the value of a regular prayer or quiet time with God. Take time to be holy, speak oft with the Lord. Spend much time in secret with Jesus alone. By looking to Jesus, like him thou shalt be. Thy friends in your conduct his likeness will see. The great thing about prayer is that it changes us. And it helps us to see not just with the natural eyes, but with the eyes of faith and revelation. I love reading books on prayer. One of my favourite authors is E.M. Bounds. He once said, it's not so much that prayer changes the world, but that prayer changes us, and God uses us to change the world. In the second and third part of today's text, Jesus has prayed. He has come down the mountainside to change the disciples' world and to change the world of the people waiting on the shore at Gennesaret. In verse 48, Jesus was just out for a walk on the water. Probably wanted to get to the other side of the shore or to meet the disciples. But his initial presence did not bring faith, but fear to most of the disciples. In Matthew's telling of this story, Peter alone showed faith and walked to Jesus on the water. The disciples thought Jesus was a ghost. In Greek, phantasma or apparition is the root word for ghost. Jewish tradition taught that demons, spectres, ghosts wanted the wilderness and the sea. The disciples thought that Jesus was a demon. But when they saw Jesus, verse 49, walking on the lake, they thought he was a ghost and they were terrified. Yet though they had lost sight of Jesus, he had not lost sight of them. He still got into the boat and calmed the storm. The boat is our lives. The storms, the adverse winds are difficult circumstances that bring fear, anxiety, worry and hopelessness. But Jesus' presence can calm any storm in our lives. One of my favourite names for Jesus is Jehovah Shammah. And in Hebrew that means the Lord is there in English. There on the boat, there in our boat, in our storms, the Lord is there. There as we go to work. Maybe as a key worker, maybe for the NHS, there in that hospital ward, in that GP surgery, in that care home, or supermarket, or school, or delivering the post. The Lord is there. The Lord, our Jehovah Shema. I once listened to a song called Lord of Hosts, you're with us in the fire, with us as a shelter, with us in the storm. You will lead us through the fiercest battle. Where else would we be without the Lord of Hosts? I think the most important thing Jesus did, aside from calming the storm, is that he went with the disciples in the boat. He climbed into the boat with them. Verse 51. Whatever we are facing at this time, he is with us, walking with us. The disciples still hadn't fully realized who Jesus was, but it seems the crowd on the shore did. They knew Jesus had the power. They knew Jesus could help them in their time of need. Do we believe his power is real? Because it is, and it's only a prayer away.